In the endless darkness of the 41st millennium, there are countless horrors. Some are vast and monstrous, some ancient and patient, others born from the warp itself, and then there are those who once stood among the brightest stars in the galaxy, only to fall willingly into shadow. They are the Drukhari, known to most as the Dark Eldar, and their story is one of beauty, corrupt, of brilliance devoured by hunger, and of a civilization that refused to die, even as it lost its very soul. Long ago, the Aeldari were lords of the galaxy. Their technology, art, and psychic power surpassed anything humanity could ever dream of. But millennia of peace and unchallenged power rotted them from within. Pleasure became their primary pursuit. Pursuit became obsession, and obsession twisted into a way of life. Across their empire, entire worlds were transformed into playgrounds of pure excess, where cruelty and indulgence knew no limits. It was this very excess that tore a hole in reality. From the collective madness of the Aeldari, a new god was born. Slaanesh, the chaos, god of excess. In a single, psychic scream that echoed across the galaxy, their civilization was reduced to dust. Billions of souls were devoured in an instant, and their once great empire collapsed into silence. Some survivors fled aboard massive craft worlds, seeking a path of discipline and restraint to save what was left of their souls. Others hid on distant planets, far from the echoes of their past sins. But a certain few refused to repent. They didn't mourn their foe. They celebrated it. These exiles sought a place where they could continue their old ways without consequence, deep within the hidden, labyrinthine tunnels of the Webway. They found the Italiano. There, they built a city unlike any other, a sprawling, multi-layered metropolis carved into the fabric of reality itself. They named it Commorragh. To any outsider, it is a living nightmare. To the Drukhari, it is paradise. Commorragh is not bound by laws of physics or reason. Towers of impossible height stretch into eternal darkness. Bridges twist like sharpened blades, and light itself seems unwelcome. Life here is as cheap as it is fleeting, and death is little more than a temporary inconvenience. In this city, betrayal is a common language, cruelty is a form of currency, and power is everything. Yet, beneath this seemingly endless chaos, there is a twisted structure. Drukhari society is built upon three pillars: the Cabals, the White Cults, and the Hamankuli Covens. Each one is a dark reflection of the culture they sustain. The Cabals are the heart of Commorragh's political power. They are vast syndicates of warriors, assassins, and spies, all led by cunning archons who rule through fear and manipulation. Their fleets strike across the galaxy without warning, raiding worlds and enslaving millions, all in the name of wealth and dominance. None are more feared than the Cabal of the Black Heart, led by the infamous Asdrubael Vect. Once a mere slave, Vect rose to power through sheer brilliance and unmatched betrayal, reshaping Commorragh's political landscape with a precision that borders on high art. Under his rule, a single misplaced word can end a dynasty, and an unexpected smile can herald a bloody coup. But in a city so obsessed with violence, there's more to life than just politics. The White Cults elevate warfare into performance art, transforming death into spectacular entertainment. Their arenas are colossal theaters where thousands gather to watch gladiators fight with a skill and grace that is simply inhuman. Here, combat is more than mere survival. It is a demonstration of absolute perfection. The most renowned among them, Lelith Hesperax, is spoken of. With awe across the galaxy, she moves with a fluidity that defies reason, carving through opponents in a deadly dance that mesmerizes all who watch. For the Drukhari, these battles are not simple. Bloodsports, they are a celebration of dominance, control, and deadly artistry. And then we come to the Hamankuli Covens, perhaps the most disturbing aspect of Drukhari society. These twisted flesh sculptors are ancient beyond comprehension, their knowledge of biology and pain rivaling that of the gods themselves. They shape living beings like clay, creating abominations of muscle and machine, and crafting horrors designed to inflict suffering beyond all imagination. Yet their work serves a much darker purpose. You see, the Drukhari suffer from a terrible curse. Their souls are slowly, inexorably, being consumed by To escape this fate, they must constantly replenish their life force by feeding on the pain of others. The homunculi have perfected the art of prolonging existence indefinitely, remaking the body again and again to stave off death. It isn't true immortality, but it is close enough for those who live in constant fear of the endless hunger of the warp. This desperate need for sustenance drives the Drukhari to their most feared activity: real space raids. Without a steady supply of fresh souls, their bodies wither and their spirits crumble. So they launch lightning-fast assaults on unsuspecting worlds, emerging from the Webway without any warning. Cities are torn apart in hours, millions are captured alive, and those who resist are left as broken warnings to others. The Drukhari do not wage wars of conquest. They strike, take what they need, and vanish back into the shadows, leaving only terror and ruin behind. For them, suffering is both a necessity and a delight. The more fear their victims feel, the more potent the stolen essence becomes, and the longer they can stave off their inevitable, agonizing doom. And yet, for all their unimaginable cruelty, the Drukhari are not mindless monsters. There is a strange, tragic elegance to their existence. They know they are a dying race, that their civilization is fading into legend, and that their souls are hunted by a god they can never defeat. But instead of surrendering to despair, they have chosen defiance. They have chosen to live as predators rather than prey, to embrace the darkness rather than hide from it. Every raid, every betrayal, every act of agony is an act of survival, a vicious statement that they will not go quietly into that good night. Life in Commorragh is a paradox. It is both beautiful and horrifying, refined and savage, brilliant and grotesque. It is a place where art is painted in blood and ambition is measured in screams. And yet, beneath all the cruelty and chaos, there is a cold, hard purpose. The Drukhari are what remains of a once great people, broken, corrupted, and desperate, but still defiantly alive. They are a dark mirror held up to the galaxy, showing what happens when power is pursued without restraint, and when desire is allowed to consume a civilization from within. The Dark Eldar are not heroes. They aren't even villains in the simple sense. They are the inevitable consequence of a fall too deep to ever climb back from a culture that has made peace with its own damnation and turned it into an identity. They know that one day Slaanesh will claim them all, that the hunger of the great enemy cannot be denied forever. But until that day comes, they will raid, they will torture, they will laugh, and they will endure. So remember their story, not just as a warning, though it is one, not as a myth, though it feels like one. Remember it as a testament to what a people can become when they choose to embrace every shadow within themselves and turn it into a weapon. Because in the endless night of Warhammer 40,000, the Drukhari are not merely survivors. They are the embodiment of a simple, terrible truth. That even in the darkest corners of the galaxy, life, no matter how twisted, will always find a way. Thanks for joining me on this dive into the dark heart of Commorragh. If you enjoyed this journey into the lore, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next exploration of the 41st millennium. See you next time.